Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Medicom Toy Mafex number, I forget the number, 256. Here we have Star Wars The Mandalorian Chrome version. This is the Star Wars Celebration exclusive, Star Wars Celebration Tokyo 2025. I know it is a Star Wars Celebration exclusive. However, I think all retailers ended up getting this, so I know I call it the Star Wars Celebration exclusive because I think that's where it was first became available, and I don't know if it's just short run or whatever the case may be, but I was able to pre-order this, and it came in stock at BigBadToyStore.com. So I had it sitting in my pile of loot for a little bit, and then I shipped it out. This guy's currently in stock right now at Big Bad Toy Store. I think there's like 11 of them or so left. So if you're looking to pick it up, I'll have a link in the video description below so you can get it. This is my very first Star Wars Mafex figures. I've got DC Mafex figures. I've got Marvel Mafex figures. And that's all I've got for Mafex figures. I know they do some movie figures and stuff like that, like Terminator and John Wick, things like that. I don't have any of those. If you guys would be interested in seeing review videos of those kinds of things, maybe I would venture out that way. But for the most part, it's kind of sticking to comic book figures and then MCU figures. And every now and then, I think I'm going to get a Star Wars figure. I'm debating whether or not I want to pre-order that Darth Vader from Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got the cracked helmet and everything. It looks pretty good. If I like this Mandalorian figure, I'm probably going to pre-order that Darth Vader before it sells out, because I think it's going to be selling out pretty quick. But anyway, here we have the Mandalorian. This is the Chrome version. There's been a couple of different versions. There was the first initial one, then there was a 2.0, and then I think the Beskar armor, and now we've got this one, and this one's going to be shiny, and I think it's going to look great. Very happy that Big Bad Toy Store was able to have it, because when it got announced, I was like, ooh, I kind of want that. And luckily, Big Bad Toy Store, put it up for pre-order. So, Mandalorian 256 Chrome version. Here at the back of the package, we get a look at the figure and stuff like that. All the accessories, a couple of fire effects for the jetpack, and then you got his blaster, you got the dark saber, and then you got the Beskar spear, which is cool. Look at the figure there. So let's go ahead and open it up. Let's take a look. All right, this was kind of cool. This is a fun little touch. I opened up the package and boom, it says, "This is the way," right on that flap. So you wouldn't see it until you open it up. All right, so here is the Mandalorian, Din Djarin and Grogu, Baby Yoda. I think we're at the point, right? We don't actually refer to him as Baby Yoda. Before we knew his name, obviously, that's what we did. But we got Grogu and the Mandalorian, and he is super chrome. Just look at the reflection of my hands moving like crazy in there. This thing is awesome. I don't have any experience with the prior Mafex Mandalorian figures, or any Mafex Star Wars figures for that matter. And I'm pretty impressed with this. There's one thing that does absolutely bother me, and I can kind of understand why. I still don't like it. This guy's got single jointed knees, and that bothers me. Like, I hate it on Black Series. I definitely don't. Wait, is it only single joints, or is it double? No, see, it's only single. Yeah, it is only single. I don't like it. I don't like it on Black Series. I definitely don't like it on an import figure, because 90 degrees. That's it on the knee. Is that enough? Maybe for what you want to do, and the sculpt of it does look good, but I'm always an advocate for double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, like every time. Sure, with some deep cut elbows, you can get just as much range on a single joint, that upcoming Gamerverse Wolverine, looking at you, but I always will prefer double jointed elbows and double jointed knees. Black Series was like, nah, you know what? We giving you single everything. And whatever. It is what it is. Obviously, I'm not going to change Hasbro's mind on that. And a lot of Star Wars collectors don't mind it and prefer it. But I just think, figures will move better with more articulation. The good thing about this is he's got double jointed elbows on this Mafex figure. So that is good. It's just the knees that are kind of driving me crazy. But this thing is awesome. I absolutely love this figure. I just wish the knees were better. But so good. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that this is my first Star Wars Mafex figure. Like, is the bar too high now for what I would want out of a Mafex figure? I think I'm going to go ahead and pre-order that Darth Vader so I don't miss out, because it looks awesome. And I would love to get a good Darth Vader figure. I know this SH Figuarts is like I think it was a reissue, but that's now in stock at Big Bad Toy Store as well. But I think I'm just going to go the Mafex route, unless you guys comment and tell me that the SH Figuarts Vader is one to pick up because it's so good, and then I will. But like, if I want to get more Star Wars Mafex figures, like, are they going to be just as good as this guy? Hopefully, maybe. That'd be great if they are. So let's go ahead and jump into the accessories of the Mandalorian. Out of the package, he has fists. I already changed out the hands on some of them, so we'll take a look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra sets of hands that he comes with. So fists out of the package, and then we get the spear holding hands. So these hands are specifically made to hold on to the Beskar spear that I have clipped onto the jetpack there. Then he's got 2 trigger finger hands for his blaster. And then we get a set of wide open hands. As you can see, I already put the right on there to hold GROGU in place. And then we get a set of relaxed hands, as you can see there. And then you have a set of grip hands so he can grip the dark saber. In addition to the dark saber, you also get the hilt for the dark saber. So unlike Black Series, where you can actually just pull the blades out of the hilts, we actually get a separate hilt just for the saber, and this looks really good. It's I want to say it's a lot bigger than what Black Series gives us, and it's a little bit more detailed. So we don't get like the gray paint in the handle. Unfortunately, it's just kind of all black. But where it kind of lights up, you can see some color in there, and then silver where the blade will come out. So that is pretty good. So looking at the dark saber, you have the hilt. Whoops, pulled his hand off. There, so you got the hilt, and then also we get the whole saber here, and this looks really good. I love the little cracks. That's kind of the look of the blade, the light up. You know, it doesn't light up, but it looks really good. So I like the way that came out looking. There, and then you get these 2 flame effect pieces for the jetpack, which I can check out here. First, let's go with this. We have the Beskar spear, and that is done pretty good. It's the same vac metal as like the Beskar armor pieces of the figure, including the jetpack, because that just glared off some light right in my eye. There's a little clip on the side of the jetpack, which is good for the Beskar spear, although it feels like it holds it weird. It's just awkward, the positioning of it, because of, you know, the jetpack and how much space is in there. It's not a lot of space, and it kind of bumps up against his leg, bumps up against his belt, bumps up against the strap over here on the shoulder. But it's still cool that you could store that, because as far as I can tell, you cannot store the darksaber anywhere on the figure. It's just something that he's just going to have to hold on to, or magically pull it out of, to quote Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, pull it out of hammer space. But we got the jetpack also. So the jetpack is really cool because it has a swap out back piece. So you can see kind of the back there. It's just keyed in, and you can kind of put it onto there. And it fits on there quite nicely. But if you don't want the jetpack, because there are times when, you know, he's not using the jetpack, you have this piece. I think it goes like this. And then you can have just the standard Beskar armor there in the back. So that is pretty cool that you have those options there. But getting back to the jetpack, you get the 2 flame effects. So as he is in flight mode, you can just peg these into the jetpack. And then he's off and flying, and that looks pretty good. Nice orange translucent color for the flames. Really good. And then you have, of course, Din Djarin and GROGU. So let's get in for a closer look at these 2 guys. Okay, so here's an up-close look. And the tricky thing is, it's kind of hard because it looks really dark, because the figure is so reflective. Like the chrome on here, it just reflects everything. The problem is it's dark behind me. So it's reflecting a lot of the darkness as opposed to a lot of the light. So that's why it might look a little bit weird, but it's very shiny. Like if you put my hand, like look at the reflection of my hand in that armor. Like it's kind of incredible. Let's do something like this. Look at GROGU in there. Like that's crazy how reflective the chrome is. So I guess it's just kind of the traditional vac metal type of deal on there, but it's very clean, looks very, very good, very, very nice. GROGU looks good as well. So GROGU looking very good. His head can move a bit. He can look down. Well, not really, but you can adjust the head a little bit and the arms. Oh, I killed him. Oh, I took his arm right off. Not what I meant to do, but as you can see, it's just a ball joint in there. So we just pop that right back on. So those just kind of swivel, and so you got your Grogu, and then you got your little Grogu feet. These all look really good. I love the way he looks. I love the color. Just looks so gosh darn cute in there. But let's focus on the Mandalorian, because he is the selling point of this figure. The cape is pretty good. It's a nice, thick, soft goods, almost like a felt type material in there. That is pretty good. Again, you get the bendy wire on the side, so you can kind of pose out the cape a little bit, and it's kind of tattered at the ends, which is really good, and there's a few holes and everything. There's a little bit of a cut in there, so that is pretty good. Oh, I forgot to mention, he's also got his blaster, and this blaster looks pretty good. As you can see there, a little bit of silver at the end there. The handle's got some brown color there. He's got the holster there on his right hip. But again, there's nowhere to store... Where's the hilt? There's nowhere to store the dark saber. And I don't recall exactly how it went in the movie. I'm sure he just stores it somewhere somewhere on his belt. But I'm looking, and there's really nowhere on the figure to store the hilt. And that kind of sucks. I wish there was. Because, you know, I'd like to be able to store everything on the figure if that were at all possible. But unfortunately, you know, we cannot. But looking at the figure overall, it just has a really, really good look to it. Just love the way it came out. Wish we had double jointed knees, but that's a whole other thing. I think that's that vibro blade. Unfortunately, that's not something that can be removed or anything, but at least they sculpted it on there, I guess. You get some ammo pieces there on the boot, and then here on the right leg, you do have, let me see, we drop down, you know, if he's going to fire off that knee, you know, a little missile rocket launcher kind of deal. Then you got his boots going on there. But yeah, just so good, so happy with the way it came out. Now let's go ahead and jump over into the articulation. Okay, so the Mandalorian's articulation, so he can look up. You can get him to look up that much, so that is good when it's going to come to flight poses. So very nice that he could do that. Looking down, he can look down very well also, and then you can get some good pivot going on in the head, and then you can do a full swivel and everything like that. There is no head underneath that helmet, by the way, so there's no, you know, removing that or pulling that off or anything like that. The arm, you can get the shoulder to come out that much, that shoulder pauldron. Oh, shoulder pauldron does have a hinge, so you should be able to move that. Let's see, how do I get this back on there? Okay, so the shoulder pauldron can move a bit, although, let's see. No, I mean, it just goes out like that. So you still can't get the arm to go straight out, though. Well, let me see. No, you can't get it to go straight out. So you can really only get it to go out that much. You get a full rotation in there, of course. And then with the Mafex, you do have this butterfly, which gets you so you can pull the shoulder down a bit. You can kind of raise it up. You can get you can bring it forward for some crossbody. The problem is the chest armor plate is going to stop you from doing the crossbody, and it doesn't really go back. You can shift the shoulder a little bit, but it doesn't really like get too far back. There is a bicep swivel just above the elbow because I think they wanted to maintain kind of the look of this layered look. So you get this layer and then there's another layer in here, and that's accurate to the suit, accurate to like Black Series do that. But you get the swivel just above the elbow, and then so the double jointed elbow does, I think, get hindered because of that a little bit, but as you can see there, you get just over 90-degree bend, and then the wrists have a ball joint swivel, so you can swivel and hinge any which way you need. I keep dropping these pieces off of the forearm gauntlet pieces, and I think that's going to be because some of the other Mandalorian figures, I'm assuming, have these different parts. So this comes off here. I don't know if there's like attachment pieces that came with other figures, but that just came off, and then this kind of comes off from time to time as well. So just a heads up on that there. So looking at ooh, hold on, I didn't like that. I did not like that crack. Hold on. Okay, so that chest piece is supposed to come off. I don't think that chest piece is supposed to come off. So that's definitely glued on there. That sucks. Don't do what I just did, folks. But let's go ahead and look at the torso articulation, because it looks like there's this big overlay in there. Let me kind of clear out the spacing for everything. So you could swivel in there, and then you could tilt Din Djarin to his left that much. You could tilt him. Does he even want to go right? You can tilt him to the right, although that was a little tricky that much there. And then leaning back is only a little bit, and then coming forward is probably going to be very little as well. Yeah, not a whole lot coming forward, but that sucks. So you could swivel nicely at the waist in there, by the way. You do get drop-down hips, so you could drop down the legs that much there. You can go out that far apart on the legs, and then you can get Din to kick forward pretty far. A little stiff on the leg, goes back a little bit, just a heads up on there. You get some thigh turn in there. Single jointed knee, just about 90 degrees, maybe just under. You get an ankle swivel in there. Foot hinges down only a little bit of hinge up because of the way the boot cover kind of works. You got toe articulation in there, and you do get some pivot on that ankle. And kind of the same thing on the other boot. You can't really hinge down a whole lot. You can't really hinge up a whole lot on this one either, because the design of the boot and shin guard in there. So there we go, articulation. So don't move it around too much, don't force it, and don't do what I did on the chest and push it down to where it makes a big old cracking noise. Luckily, it's just the glue that popped, so I could just put some glue right back in there and it'll hold in place. But yeah, that was scary. Okay, so I got that chest piece glued back on there. Good as new. Like, I have no problems now. You just got to make sure you're always careful with the super glue. Luckily, I did not get any on my fingers this time. But I got it in place there, but that was scary, so just be aware of that. Like, don't push down. Don't squeeze it too much. Don't really try and force it. You know, grab holds of the sides and things like that. But as you can see here, the Mandalorian, the Mafex next to the Star Wars Black Series by Hasbro. Night and day difference, and that's going to be part of the thing, is going to be because of the chrome version. I may look into getting like the regular release of the Mandalorian that's not in chrome and kind of take a look at it there, because I feel like I'm looking at almost a black figure through my viewfinder, but just because it's reflecting so much nothingness behind me, as opposed to just seeing the shine silver of the chrome. Because if we went with the silver, it wouldn't be as much, but that chrome, just because of the reflectiveness, it also like hurts it through the camera. If you have it in hand, it's a very different experience. But you can see the Mafex is a little bit taller than the Hasbro version. The articulation at the knees, well, actually, this is the older. This one does have the single jointed knees. So single jointed knees, but the Mafex does have double jointed elbows, which is good. I really like the chrome version. I think it just looks really good. And then the cape is a whole lot better because it's thicker, and it has the bendy wire in it, whereas the Hasbro, they did the tattered design in there, but it has no bendy wire whatsoever. I don't know if brown's probably a little bit more accurate compared to black. But to me, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot. But I do love the fact that the jetpack has a nice silver color to it, which is really good there. And then we get a bunch of accessories. So we get the blaster, a little bit of gold paint on this side. I didn't show that side before. We get the Darksaber hilt and then the Darksaber blade. Whereas you can see, like the Hasbro Darksaber was quite small, as you can see there. But the Mafex ends up being a little bit bigger, so that kind of makes sense. But I'm really liking the Mafex. Definitely prefer it over that Black Series. Black Series price is just so much better compared to the Mafex one. So that's kind of the difference maker. You're paying $100 more for the Mafex, and whether or not you think that's worth it, it's valid. If you think it is, sure. If you don't think it is, sure. Completely fine. But two completely different figures and styles. In terms of how the articulation is set up, the quality that goes into Mafex versus the quality that goes into Hasbro. Two very different things. Obviously this one comes with GROGU, but, a Black Series Mandalorian that would come with GROGU is definitely considered deluxe and at a higher price. We don't get all the additional hands and things like that come, with Hasbro figures. So there's all those different factors that kind of go into it. So it's kind of up to what your preference would really be. Okay, so that's my review of the Mafex Mandalorian. So even though I had a little bit of the scare with the chest piece, I was able to kind of glue it back in there, so it's no harm, no foul. I didn't crack anything, I didn't break anything. It just kind of broke the glue seal on there. And I'm really liking this figure. Despite that, I still really like it. I think it just looks fantastic. I love the accessories that he comes with. It moves pretty well. Again, I'm just a little hesitant on the single jointed knee. Unfortunately, you know, there's some stiffness in the leg, which, you know, some Mafex figures, you know, some of those parts kind of come off a little too easily, in my opinion. But, you know, that's not really an issue here. But I'm really liking, you know, what we have here with this figure. It does make me curious about Star Wars Mafex figures, in that I might get the regular release of the Mandalorian, and then I'd be looking at that Darth Vader figure, and, you know, potentially even like Ahsoka or Bo-Katan or the Luke Skywalker figure. You guys let me know if you guys have, you know, experience with Mafex Star Wars figures. Are they worth picking up? Should I grab some of those other ones? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. And then let me know what you guys think of this figure. Were you able to get it at Big Bad Toy Store? At the time of this recording, I think there was only like 11 of them left in stock or something like that. Or were you lucky enough to attend Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo and get to purchase it directly in Japan? Because that would be even cooler to do. But you guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below on this Mafex Star Wars Mandalorian, the Chrome version, number 256 by Medicom Toy Mafex. Din Djarin and Grogu, very happy with it. You guys let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. First, I want to talk a little bit about NSaber. So NSaber is a lightsaber company, and they were nice enough to send out to me in Episode 3 Anakin Skywalker lightsaber. This, to me, is the ultimate lightsaber design. When I think of Star Wars and lightsabers, this is the one that comes to mind. This is the Episode 3 Anakin Skywalker. Also, from the original trilogy, this is the lightsaber that Obi-Wan Kenobi gives to Luke Skywalker. In the sequel trilogy, this is the one Rey uses. And then, of course, the prequel trilogy, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, this is the Anakin Skywalker lightsaber. It's got a great weight to it, made of metal, everything perfect, beautiful design. With the Anakin Episode 3 pixel lightsaber, you have a beautiful ignition, smooth swing. You have the blast effect. You have the lockup effect. Cool color change features. You can even do the Kylo Ren fire effect to the blade with the same sounds. Or even do the purple lightsaber like Mace Windu. Use the link in the video description below to pick up your own NSaber's lightsaber.